and welcome to the far west side for the latest in our KSAT series, Know My Neighborhood. This is our opportunity to feature all the different areas that we have right here at home that so often share a lot of the same concerns: public safety, taxes, infrastructure. One thing we have found, though, there is a whole lot more that unites us than divides us.
Absolutely. It is grassroots journalism. We talk to neighbors, people who live here, not elected officials, not a politician. We talk to people who actually live in these neighborhoods about what is most important to them. And we are tonight focusing on Alamo Ranch.
We are here at Triple E's, one of the few local businesses that are here at Alamo Ranch. That's kind of hard to find, but they do exist in this area. It smells delicious. They're not new to San Antonio, but they are new to Alamo Ranch, which over the last 20 years, this place has been bustling with growth. It's part of what makes Alamo Ranch unique, but also challenging.
Yeah, there are growing pains in Alamo Ranch. Make no bones about it. But to get a better idea of the issues and just what is happening out here, I went out with some of the neighborhood experts. They tell us there's a lot to love about this neighborhood. There's also a lot to learn. We're standing on the outskirts of Alamo Ranch. It's actually 151 that's behind us, the VA Hospital, Hyatt Resort Drive. We're going to go into Alamo Ranch and take a tour. We have two members of the board of the Alamo Ranch Community Association, Gabby and Jordan. What do you want people to know about Alamo Ranch?
We have a lot of different types of families living there, from military families to young families to retirees.
Accurate to say you're experiencing growing pains?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We're going to go feel some of that pain. So let's go right now.
All right.
With the Thelma and Louise of Alamo Ranch. Buckle up. Since we've got some time, let's talk about the good, the bad, the frustrating. Good first. Gabby.
I really like the atmosphere out here overall. So although it has grown immensely in these past few years, it's still very kind of a small town feel.
All right, now the bad.
Break-ins?
Yeah, the break-ins.
That's what the biggest complaint is that there's people coming around checking your cars at night, and doesn't seem to be getting any better. It's not worse, it's pretty much the same.
We are the county, so we rely heavily on the sheriff's department, but there's not enough of a presence out here for people to be, scared about doing bad things.
They don't have the resources to hire more for it. That's what we've been told. And if there's a fire, if there's, an emergency, they get out to us pretty quickly. It's just at nighttime when there's break-ins, or if there's something, and if there's traffic, right? There's no way to there's no way for them to get past all this to get to you.
That's what I was going to say. God forbid there be a big emergency at, it's 4:45 right now, and we're stuck in traffic.
Well, I would say the traffic is the frustrating.
And it's going to get worse in a few years.
Probably during COVID is when we got the big boom of people moving out our way.
Well, obviously it's popular. So, Gabby, what do you hope people take out of this Know My Neighborhood?
Well, I'm hoping that people learn what I learned. I'm hoping that we learn what the boundaries are.
I want them to know that this is a nice area to live. It's overcrowded now. We're taking applications, but no more. It's a nice place to raise a family. It's a nice place to retire. It is still growing.
I get the attraction to this neighborhood, I really do. But to understand what Alamo Ranch has become, you have to delve into its history.
And before all these businesses and homes were here, Alamo Ranch was just that. It was a ranch. And get this, it was thanks to a group of nuns who still live on 85 acres right here in the heart of this community that all of this came to be. Jesse DeGollado talked with some of the sisters to get that story.
A place of peace, inspiration, and even eternal rest may seem out of place with the explosive growth nearby of Alamo Ranch. But before there were houses as far as the eye could see, part of the land, acquired in 1957, has been the home of the Cordy Marian Missionary Sisters. Already there, what seemed like a castle with a turret on top became their first mother house. Told it was designed to look like an Italian villa, it was later demolished and rebuilt as the Cordy Marian Villa. And for many years, the property itself was actually a real working farm.
When I had heard that we were coming to live on a farm, I got scared. I was definitely a city girl.
Sister Matilda was too, so they had a lot to learn.
How to milk cows, how to kill chickens, ducks, rabbits, pigs.
Lessons they had to learn on what became a prime piece of real estate decades later.
We were being advised that the land was going to be very valuable for us in the future. So we didn't want to sell.
Until they had to, about 20 years ago, to grow their on-site ministry. $2.4 million for the 175 acres that the Alamo Ranch developer wanted. Proceeds went toward adding retreat houses and chapels and investments for the future. The sisters took longer to sell than it did for the developer to buy it after they learned that the land was finally for sale.
We used to see houses popping up here and there, and it says, oh, there's another house.
We feel kind of hemmed in now, whereas before it was kind of like all ours.
When all this was either overgrown or pasture land for nearby dairy farms, the Cordy Marion sisters were hidden back off Culebra when it was nothing but a country road.
It's away from what's all around us. We hope that it'll stay like this, hopefully forever.
People who come here and are looking for God, they find Him.
And Jesse is joining us live here at Triple E's. I love, Jesse, that these sisters still live right in the heart of this community, but there's so many people surrounding them. Do a lot of people who live here know that they're there?
Actually, I spoke to several people here at the restaurant, and they were surprised. Many of them had no idea that that was there or even knew who the Cordy Marions are. But they're right there behind Taft High School, and they've been there since 1957 when there was nothing out here.
And Jesse, you have worked at KSAT and been in San Antonio for a long time. Did you know this history of Alamo Ranch?
Absolutely not. In fact, when I was told that we were featuring Alamo Ranch, I thought, what kind of history could there be to a mega subdivision? And then lo and behold, the Cordy Marions are just beautiful, beautiful ladies. The sisters.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you so much.
Jesse.
Sure.
Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood here on the News at 6. You know, we told you at the top of the show, one of the big concerns here at Alamo Ranch is all the growth. As more and more people start calling this neighborhood home, along with that comes more construction and more traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a popular place. Daniela Ibarra joins us now live from outside of Tripoli. She's right along Alamo Ranch Parkway. And Danielle, I don't know what it looks like from your vantage point, but from where we are, it's just a steady stream of cars since really 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, it has been. And just in the past 20 minutes that I've been standing out here, it's really been stop and go, all dependent on that light that's a block back. Now, traffic here is a big issue that doesn't really have a clear solution to it, but it's one everyone here wants relief from.
It's a headache that's only gotten worse.
Yeah, the traffic, the congestion, overpopulation, it's pretty frustrating.
And when it's rush hour, frustration pulsates through Alamo Ranch.
What I don't like about it is just it's becoming increasingly difficult. It gets crazier and crazier after 4 or 5 o'clock.
Alamo Ranch is Mark Ramirez's home of over a decade. He says around pickup and drop-off time, the area around Taft High is a sore spot.
That is really unreal. That's crazy. It's like that every morning.
But a big problem runs through the vein of the neighborhood, Alamo Ranch Parkway.
You need more space. You got to have more space for vehicles to run through.
It's a circuit with an abrupt end, but there's room to grow.
It's a bit dangerous to cross sometimes just because people are really they're really eager to get out of the intersection.
Are there any plans to extend Alamo Ranch Parkway to connect with Tally Road?
Yes, that's all developer driven. So as development occurs, the developers have to create that section of the Alamo Ranch Parkway.
Tony Vasquez is the division chief of operations for Bexar County Public Works. He says extending Alamo Ranch Parkway will help alleviate congestion. The county is looking for other solutions by launching a traffic study.
They're going to be analyzing it to determine what the best solution would be. And they're going to provide us with short-term solutions, mid-range solutions, and long-term solutions.
Just down the road is another web of problems.
You know, there's not an easy way to get from 151 onto 1604.
What I was told is that the reason we don't have a way to get under here is because there's an endangered spider.
The Bracken Bat Cave Mesh Weaver stopped TxDOT from working on an underpass project in 2012. TxDOT had to switch to building an overpass, tripling the project's price tag to $44 million.
We built that one bridge there, and it just went one way.
So now we're just inconvenienced with having to drive.
You have to go all the way down here.
We asked TxDOT if there are any plans to put an interchange at 151 and 1604. They say there's not. While Alamo Ranch's traffic headache won't go away anytime soon, drivers say it's a pain they've learned to manage.
It's a growing subdivision, so it's just kind of something you have to deal with.
Okay, Daniela, great that they're doing a study to look at possible solutions, but anybody who lives here and drives through this is going to want to know about a timeline. When is something going to happen with that?
I know it's frustrating having to wait, but the county says it's about 80% done, so hopefully it wraps up by the end of the year, and then they're going to start working on solutions starting at the beginning of next year.
I'm also glad you got to the bottom of that spider thing.
I know.
Because that was a tangled web for a long time. So thank you, Daniela.
All right.
We'll see you a little bit later in the show.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood, Alamo Ranch. Many of the people we spoke with here say this is a great area to raise a family, and that means students make up a large part of this community.
And Taft High School is where the majority of families in Alamo Ranch can choose to send their students. It didn't come with this relatively new neighborhood, though. Taft has been around since 1985.
Yeah, and its fine arts program, they say, is what sets them apart. And Taft leaders say they love the fact that they can enhance the skill of their students when it comes to music, when it comes to theater, when it comes to production.
Patty Santos tells us why their motto, "We over me," is more of a mentality.
Actors, are you ready? Ready. Tech, are you ready? Enjoy the show. Once upon a time.
If you want to go do good fine arts and good theater,
I wish my cow would give us some milk.
you go to Taft.
From its foundation in 1985, Taft High School has had a leading spirit.
There was really a standard of excellence when the school opened. You know, it was new and it was the only school out here.
Amanda Pyle, Taft Fine Arts Coordinator and Head Theater Director, has been around for more than a decade, helping to cultivate a collaborative spirit across all fine arts programs.
Every other year, we put on a full musical that incorporates all of the fine arts.
Whether it's in theater,
1, 2, 3, 4.
music, or dance, students are encouraged to explore their talents.
One of our mottos here is try the whole buffet. So actors, you don't want to just try acting. You want to try tech. You want to try set design, costume design, all of that.
For student Bailey Sapita, there's a genuine sense of community.
We are all about we over me. It's another one of our mottos, which means put the whole department in front of yourself.
This is my third year in Taft Theater, and it's probably my favorite place that I've ever been.
Is a thing that you've not even seen.
Junior Ella Cruz says students feel respected, and it influences their desire to put forth professional quality.
Learn her name. No, there's a dwarf standing guard.
We really believe that, you know, if Broadway is the standard, that's what we should be striving for. And high schoolers can meet that standard.
Pyle says whatever they're doing is working. Taft's band, dance, orchestra, and theater programs have been recognized over 70 times in state and national competitions. The school proudly boasts of students who have gone on to the big screen, the main stage, or have become professionals in the arts.
You guys have a good reputation in the district?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And you're not just saying that?
No, I'm not just saying that. Other people are telling me that too.
Okay. Good question. It was Sasha's. I just asked it.
That sense of community extends beyond the school walls as well.
I have parents who their students have graduated and they'll come back and volunteer to run concessions just because they love being a part of the community that has been created through Taft in the Alamo Ranch community.
Hey, we have a football game in like 50 minutes, so switch your brain. Brass, warm down your chops, please. Thank you all.
I love that. Switch your brains. You know, we keep talking about growth here in Alamo Ranch. There's been so much of it that several other schools have opened up to accommodate that. That includes Brennan High School, Harlan High School, and Sotomayor as well.
Yeah, and with all that growth, there's still a big question out there. What exactly are the boundaries of Alamo Ranch?
Across Alamo Ranch, neighbors here are on watch. As the sun sets in this neighborhood, statistics show that car break-ins and burglaries, they're common in this part of Bexar County.
Yeah, one concern people in Alamo Ranch have is how many Bexar County Sheriff's deputies are actually patrolling this neighborhood. So we reached out to the Sheriff's Department and asked them that question. How many patrolmen do they have out here? How many deputies? And are they planning on assigning more?
Let's take a look at how Bexar County responded with that. BCSO told us that it has deputies patrolling the unincorporated parts of Bexar County for a 24-hour period, and deputies work 8-hour shifts, including in Alamo Ranch. They said, though, they cannot give specific times and numbers for security purposes.
Our Avery Everett joins us now, and this is a very real concern. And Avery, I know that you've talked to a family who spent thousands of dollars trying to deal with this problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when it comes to these car break-ins and burglaries, they're just about everywhere in the county. But here in Alamo Ranch, it's a big issue. And some of those neighbors say they're trying to take action into their own hands.
You're going to want to cover your ears.
From the sound alone, it may seem like Alamo Ranch has active tracks, but there is no train crossing through this part of Bexar County. That's the sound of Travis Albert's truck.
It's stupid, but it's like every time it happens, I try to do something different.
This horn is a homemade solution to a serious issue across the neighborhood: car burglaries and car break-ins.
Every time that there's been, someone's tried to steal it or try to break into it, I've tried to learn something from it.
The Albert family has seen more than 5 break-in attempts to their Ford F-150 in the past couple of years. This video is just one of those attempts, showing 2 people trying to cut the alarm of the Albert's truck.
It's an upgraded alarm. He's always had an alarm.
If my battery ever dies, I'll have to break a window to get into my truck because there's no way to get in anymore.
They've spent thousands of dollars.
And it just locks to the brake.
Trying to protect their property.
It takes something away from you, and that sense of security can never be replaced.
And they're not alone in Alamo Ranch.
We average, honestly, about 3 to 4 vehicles a week that come in for break-ins.
In just 2 months of business at Alamo Ranch Collision, owner Jose Trevino says fixing vehicles after a break-in is becoming more frequent.
It's the same repair every single time. It's very frustrating because you never know if you're next.
And with car part shortages across the country, it could even contribute to longer delays.
When you have such a high volume of the same parts being ordered, they just couldn't keep up with the manufacturing of those pieces.
This concern about vehicle break-ins is a common one across the San Antonio area. Over September of this year, SAPD reported these 5 vehicles as the most stolen vehicles across the city. Hyundais, Fords, and Kias all on the list.
It's not our area, it's the city of San Antonio and parts of Texas.
With a Ford of their own, the Alberts are hoping new technology minimizes their truck as a target.
I moved it up here so that they couldn't just reach in.
A fix for now, but any feeling of security is far from returning anytime soon.
You wonder, where is your safe place?
So I reached out to the Bexar County Sheriff's Department just to see how common this is across the county. So in July of this year, there were more than 200 vehicle burglaries across the county. More than 40 of those were here in Alamo Ranch neighborhoods. Big percentage. Yeah.
Avery, thanks so much.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Now, Alamo Ranch is one of Bexar County's fastest growing areas. So VIA wants to build a park and ride facility here.
They have already chosen a location, but our Daniela Ibarra explains that neighbors told her it is unneeded and certainly unwanted.
Tucked away in the heart of Alamo Ranch is a haven.
We like the wildlife. We have rabbits. We have deer.
The woods behind Jenny Charbonneau's home give her peace and privacy.
We invested good money in these houses when we bought them.
Soon, that investment and the growth of the greenery could be stunted. Last year, VIA picked this 16-acre plot of land near Alamo Ranch Parkway and Lone Star Parkway to build its new park and ride facility. VIA says the design plans aren't finalized, and neither are the plans for service.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I've gotten mixed reviews, but mostly People are frustrated that they chose the place where they chose.
It's just going to destroy it.
Ginny's neighbor, Celeste Cunningham, agrees.
Most of the owners here have vehicles, and so I don't think there's much of need for the VIA transportation.
VIA says it believes Alamo Ranch needs a park and ride facility because of its rapid growth.
Whoever's going to ride their buses is not going to be from this area. They're going to come in from somewhere else.
I don't know if that could cause for more potential bad products like burglaries or car thefts or any break-ins or anything like that.
We want VIA to sit down with us to talk about Ginny and Celeste's concerns. A spokeswoman refuses to make anyone available, insisting we send our questions via email. Since the start of the year, VIA says it's working with residents, neighborhood associations, and the county to make sure people know about the plans and are able to give feedback. But Ginny says she feels like VIA doesn't want to listen.
Excuse my French, they don't give a damn.
Ginny and other neighbors say they didn't get a say, and they're right. VIA says its board decides where to build new facilities. With design plans still in the works, Ginny says there's time to change.
Go somewhere else. Just, there are better places.
Better look at where this project is being planned. You can see how it's surrounded by businesses and homes. And VIA, they say that this could actually be used as a parking pool. The system as a whole could be used as a parking pool, and this could mean a completely different service could be recommended for this Alamo Ranch facility.
There's a lot of frustration when you talk to neighbors here, though, Daniela. They don't feel like VIA is listening to them, and they think part of it is because Alamo Ranch is in the county, and VIA gets their sales tax increases through a city vote. So they don't feel like VIA is listening to their concerns, and they also wonder, why not put this, instead of in the middle of the neighborhood, on 1604, or someplace where a park and ride maybe makes more sense.
Yeah, this is super frustrating for them. I know one of them mentioned even the stadium lights that would be out there. I mean, it would shine right into their bedroom window.
Yeah.
Certainly. All right, Daniela, thank you. We'll see what happens with that.
Welcome back to Tripoli's here in the heart of Alamo Ranch. And you know, every neighborhood has its pros and cons.
Sure.
But how about something puzzling?
There is a big question here that is a real source of debate. What are the boundaries of Alamo Ranch? Where does it stop? Where does it start? Turns out getting an answer is not so easy.
We are in Alamo Ranch proper as we speak.
So where exactly is that?
I think what I think is Alamo Ranch is from Westwood Loop to Tally, from Calabria, the inside of Calabria, to Wiseman.
We found out it kind of depends on who you ask.
From 1604, going west.
That one neighborhood that connects right here is San Antonio.
Maybe 1604 to as far as, I don't know, Potranco.
Well, not just west, but maybe northwest of here.
They have dubbed the far west side as being Alamo Ranch, and they're really not one and the same.
Alamo Ranch is in Bexar County's jurisdiction, not the city of San Antonio. The city did look at possibly annexing Alamo Ranch back in 2015. In fact, it was listed as a priority area for annexation. Back then, the city was looking at an area west of Westwood Loop and Lone Star Parkway, stretching south of Wiseman, west to Tally Road, and north to Calabria. That annexation didn't happen. Today, the city says it has no plans to annex Alamo Ranch. Bexar County has a loose definition of the boundaries. They're based on the original plot of land submitted to the county for development. That was back in 2004, and it's no secret Alamo Ranch has exploded since then. But in the interest of comparison, those boundaries are...
Generally speaking, it's going to be an area bounded on the north by FM 471, on the south by Potranco Road, and on the east by 1604.
When it comes to Bexar County providing services for Alamo Ranch, the boundaries don't make a difference.
Everything in unincorporated Bexar County is handled by our service centers, regardless of the boundaries set up by the plats or the master development plans. It's all unincorporated Bexar County, and we treat it all the same.
For the boundaries of Alamo Ranch to become something official, the neighborhood will have to either be annexed or become its own municipality. Looks like for now, this will stay a source of neighborly debate.
They used to use SeaWorld as kind of a landmark place to talk about. I'm like, oh, I'm out there by SeaWorld, but now it's just, oh, I'm in Alamo Ranch, but they could be talking about anywhere really between Petrenko and Gom Road.
If it keeps on expanding the way it is, there's just no stopping it.
That does it for this edition of Know My Neighborhood Alamo Ranch. We want to thank the owner, all the staff here at Triple E's for letting us use this beautiful space, and also for everybody in this community who helped us and let us share their stories.
For opening up, really. And Hoyta and everybody here at Triple E's has done a great job. Next, we head to Dignity Hill. That will be next month, and we're already working on the new year. If you would like your neighborhood to be part of Know My Neighborhood, send me an email at spriester@ksat.com. For Myra, for Adam, for Jesse, for Avery, for Daniela, for Billy, for Priscilla, for Sean, for Emmy Award winner Andrew Wilson, and Garrett, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the Night Beat.